Hello, everybody. I hope you're all very well. I have had a wild week out treasure hunting. And sometimes I tell you there's a strange feeling in the flea market, like there's a presence that's just sort of scattered in the air like glitter. Well, yesterday, that presence was everywhere. I'll just tell you, it wasn't Santa. And I don't even know if they're on his naughty or nice list. But I'll tell you who was all over the flea market. Gloria. Gloria, you absolute legend. Who were you, woman? Honestly, I found this in the flea market. It was my first stop. And it was from a geezer who he didn't even want to touch it because he was so uncomfortable about it. So I had to scrape it out of a dirty old box and put it all together. There's three pieces there. There's a bracelet, with the ring and the coins on the top. There's a necklace, and also there's the coin bra. And you can, is it in focus? Just draw a veil over the camera. The two pieces on the top you can get on Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive, but the bra is interesting. It's really heavy. It sounds musical. I think it's got a lot of age to it. I don't know if it's an actual genuine, vintage Egyptian belly dancer's bra, but it's definitely a professional dance quality top. And yes, I've had it on. Normally I'd model it for you, but I'm wearing the Christmas kitten jumper and the pom-pom keeps getting caught up. I just think it's wild when sometimes you find someone's entire life strewn around the flea market and the charity shops. I love it. I get so excited. I feel like I'm sort of gathering them up and getting to know them and living their life with them and making friends with them. Is that a bit weird? I don't think it's weird. No, it's not weird. But yeah, look at this. So I'll give you a closer look. This won't come undone there, but I can peekaboo. I can fix that with a little link. And there's the necklace. And there's the bracelet. So you put that on your hand, and that's the ring that holds it in place. Tino, I love it. I really love it. I could play with it all day. Enough messing about. What I've got this week is another eclectic collection. I'm going to leave Gloria standing there in all her absolute golden glory, and go through some of the hard goods that I found. Just a tiny little bit of jewellery this week, I think, but I've got some fantastic vintage fashion for the end, so stick around for that. And can I just say it now? Thank you to the people who gave me, well, I call it life-changing advice. It was brilliant information about the blue John stones and other items. Amazing. I just had such lovely, generous people telling me the names of artists, in particular that Ambleside vase bowl that I have, that I've cherished, that I've decided to part with. The artist is Jill Aldersley. She's passed away just recently in 2007. So thank you ever so much for everyone who is educating me and giving me brilliant information. I love it. Extremely grateful. Okay, so flea market finds from the start. Last week there was a really strange atmosphere in the flea market. It was quite intense, and not in a good way. It wasn't in like a sort of, oh, there's lots of new stuff, someone's died and it's all here. Don't hate me. I'm going to be that woman one day and I'll be all over the flea market. God help the person who has to house clear my gaff. No, do you know what? I really genuinely, and not in a macabre way, would love to know the date of my death or the date of my expiry, because I don't want the government to get a single penny. I don't want any of them to get a whiff or a sniff of my glorious goods. I just don't want them to get any of it. So I want to make sure that I've sold everything I own, just left standing in the clothes that I'm wearing. I want to sell the house, the car, my shoes, everything. So none of it goes to the government. But that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Because we don't know when that's going to happen. It could be in 10 minutes when this video is finished. Well, I hope it's not 10 minutes because the video is going to be about 40 minutes. That would be 20 minutes of really boring video. Anyway, so it was weird. It was intense. And there were lots of kind of people that I didn't know shopping who seemed to have sort of just rammed the market. I don't know if they'd come on a coach together, but they weren't the regulars, and it was quite sort of elbows at dawn. You know what I mean? They weren't aggressive. It wasn't hostile, but it wasn't the norm of, oh, excuse me, oh, that's nice. You know, that kind of nice jolliness that is around in the flea market. So I was sort of like a bit, I need to get in and out of here. I had found that was my first find, first stop, first stall. Couldn't believe it. Absolutely overjoyed. But felt like I sort of couldn't really have a good look at the rest of the stuff on the store because it was just too packed. It was like a rave of old women. I mean, I'm an old woman, but they were like full on. So I went off into some more stalls that were a bit less populated, and it sort of went round and round a couple of times and went back to the first stall just before I left at the end. And as I had enough after I got a couple of other things, I felt a little bit sort of like, not deflated, but I felt like, oh, I wish I could have had a proper look. But I went and I saw this on the geezer stall, and I just love stationery. You know, people that love stationery. I'm one of them. But I love vintage stationery, and I love orange. Mid-century orange. I've got a glass collection. It's just like, it warms me inside. And I loved these little boxes, and there's nothing in them. They're completely empty. And I said to the guy, oh, how much do you want for all of them? Because he had a sign on his stall. Look how slightly faded that is. That looks like, you know, those trousers, those brine nylon trousers that accountants used to wear in the 1960s. That's that colour and texture. Yeah, he had a sign on his stall that said, everything on this table, £1 each. And I said, oh, how much do you want for all of the little envelope boxes? He said, oh, £2. I said, oh, brilliant, thanks very much. And then he said, what are you going to do with them? And I said, I haven't got a clue. That never crosses my mind when I'm out treasure hunting. It's not something that I care about what I'm going to do with it. I just love having it. I love finding it and having it. And they're all empty. I think maybe they were for postcards. Don't know. Some sort of antiquated library system. And as I picked it up and said goodbye and I was walking off, we went, oh, and the lid for the big box is underneath, meaning, you know, you can put the lid on so they don't fall out. And I said, oh, great, thanks very much. So I undid it on the way and then just put it in the car and put it on the side when I got home. Wait a minute. I looked at it and I thought, that doesn't seem ordinary. And I realised straight away it was a faux shagreen, which is stingray skin, but faux, obviously. That's like a vintage faux shagreen skin box in mint condition. Would it look spectacular on a gentleman's bureau? Put a little cushion in there, put your gold cufflinks and your big rings and your chains and your little bits of pieces. You can pretend that you're a gangster gentleman like in Peaky Blinders. Gorgeous. Unbelievable. So I had that under one arm, and that turned out to be a fantastic surprise. And I had that under the other arm. Oh, sing to me, you thing of beauty. Oh, vintage stacking Ryman's mid-century orange filing tray stacking monument. Monument to style and beauty. From another regular trader. That was a fiver. He also had some, what do they call that? They call piquant, mid-century orange pans, which were also a fiver, a set of three. I just loved them, and I would have gotten them, but they were aluminium and vintage aluminium, and I just thought, oh, you know what? We're already all high risk of Alzheimer's. I don't want to, add to that risk. So so I left them. They were gorgeous. The whole set was a fiver as well, and they would have looked beautiful, but they were just like proper 50s, 60s aluminium. Just like they're just screaming warning. So I left them. But I took this, and I haven't cleaned it yet, but it's just got a few bits on the top. It's not scratches. I had a good pick at that. It's just a bit of like sticky from a sticker. So there you go, look. Vintage Ryman's mid-century filing stacking shelves. Heaven. On another store with a lovely lady, I bought more gentlemanly things. I quite like gentlemanly things, not as much as I like lady things. That sounds terrible. Sorry, Gloria. Yeah, I bought this. I just bought it for the box because it's Troika Designs. There you go. That's a clear review. Troika Designs. Troika, obviously, the pottery, an institution now, and I just thought the box was nice. Paid £1. It's full of keys. So I was just sitting on the sofa last night when I got in, and I was trying to thaw out because it was, oh my God, it was raw yesterday. It was freezing. And I thought, there's always a story to a key. So I thought I'd have a little look through, see if there was anything exciting on them. And it turns out that this is an AA key, and it's, I don't know, probably 60s. The AA is the Automobile Association. I don't know if that's international, but it's sort of like an institution in England, and they sort of build their reputation on being the sort of fourth emergency service. Forget about it. Yeah. So apparently, in the early days, property of the Automobile Association, made by Yale. Apparently, in the early days, there used to be boxes by the side of the road that if you were a member of the AA, you'd get one of these keys, and if you had an emergency, you could open the box and I don't know what was inside. some form of comfort in your emergency. I don't know, maybe a pint of stout and a pork pie. Anyway, that's what they were. Can you imagine having a key now to an emergency box by the side of the road? I'm not a personal fan of the AA for a very good reason. Never mind. And these are also, I think they're sort of not skeleton keys, but they're sort of standard keys for some sort of lock. Oh, hang on, got the name on it. There we go. Lowe and Fletcher. There for something. So that was interesting. And apparently these are worth about £5 each, and that's worth about £3. So what I might do is just get them out of my life and list the keys on eBay for 15-20 quid and see what happens, just out of interest, and then ask the person, if someone buys them, what they're going to do with them. Don't expect an answer, but it'd be quite interesting to know. So there we are, keys. Lovely box. Probably had a necklace in there or cufflinks. Nice. I love the font. From my jewellery bag lady, I got a 3 Elephants brooch. I think it's quite old. I think it's possibly resin to sort of look like ebony. I think it's a vintage resin elephant brooch. They probably would have had little plastic tusks, but they got long gone. I thought that was nice. I like to support her as well because she's great. And this Joy, a little, not vintage, modern, bejeweled sea turtle. Oh God, that's gorgeous. Wait till you see what this looks like on something else that I bought. Beautiful. I think this is the last piece of jewellery from this week and last week. I bought a jewellery bag from this week's flea market, but the only thing that was interesting was this. And I spent a couple of hours going down a lovely wormhole on Google last night trying to figure out what the stamp meant on the back. And it says, hang on. Right, I doubt you'll be able to see that, but that says LB&B, made in England, and that stands for London Badges and Buttons. It was a company that made sort of military metal buttons and badges and pins, you know, sort of emblems, that type of thing. This, I thought initially was a tie clip, but now I think it's a money clip. Isn't that cool? So you put your wad in there, and off you go with your troika cufflinks that you keep in your shagreen box. Right, I was all mouth and no trousers about the trees and the decorations and what have you because today is December the 1st, day of recording. So obviously it'll be the 2nd when this goes out on Friday. But I managed to move the gold tree from the jungle room into the bay window when it's not decorated. Massive one up. Each of those branches goes on individually, might I just add, for my defense. And I put some like random fruit decorations on it, the mushrooms and the big hand-painted ball, but that's about all. Oh, I feel ashamed of myself. It's because I think I've actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I've actually reached saturation point with the Christmas decorations. I've gone too far. I know it's ridiculous, there's no such thing as going too far, but I did make a rule yesterday before I left for the flea market that I was forbidden from buying any more Christmas decorations. But I just got this one. The box is really manky. I haven't washed it yet. I don't think it's vintage. I think it's probably a few years old. But I mean, it was from Tesco, and it was £5 at the time. It's probably more like 25 now. But it's fabulous, and I thought it would go perfectly on my white Christmas tree from Madrid with my Hong Kong lanterns. Yes, it would. So I got it just on my way out. It was £1. And I also got these. I know, gorgeous. Completely unnecessary, but sort of gorgeous. Possibly vintage, like mini sugared. And they have this incredible iridescent rump. In the daylight, it just looks nice. However, in artificial light, you know, like night light, amazing. So I got those and the apples. Another bag. And just a couple of the sugared apples and pears. I know, but they go with my true vintage sugared lemons. Love, I know. I know. And they're probably going to stay in a box for eternity, but you know, I say that's it for now, and that's it forever. That's it, definitely. Just apart from these. Seriously, these might have saved my day yesterday. Saved my bacon, my bacon bacon. These are Lefton vintage 1950s holly leaf print elves or pixies, and I'd gone from one desperate looking sort of destroyed town to another dystopian Brexit ruined town, and wasn't really finding anything exciting. It was a little bit depressing. I had gone in search of a cheese and potato pie to fill a cheese and potato pie hole I had inside me, and all I got was like a tepid, flaccid looking pasty thing, not a pasty. A pasty pasty is what it was. And then to sort of compensate for the failed pasty, I bought a hot chocolate, and the hot chocolate was so hot and remained so hot that I couldn't drink it. It was like the surface of the sun temperature. So it was double fail. I felt like Goldilocks walking around these dystopian towns in the northwest of England. This porridge is too cold. This porridge is too hot. So, by some miracle to compensate for that, the last charity shop on my way home handed me this joy. You never find this. You just would never in a million years think, oh, I hope I find some 1950s vintage Lefton elves for Christmas. But look, there they are. And I got really, really excited, and they were filthy. I've just given them a little rinse, but I'll give them a proper clean, gentle clean. I picked them up and I wandered around the shop with them. Some poor geezer came in and he was buying stuff, and then he put his bags down, and they were so efficient that they took his bags in and thought they were his donations. And I think it was seriously what he was going to use to keep his family and children warm this winter. But he got them back and everything was fine, and we didn't really laugh about it because he was just so traumatized, poor soul. But he's happy. He got his gear, and everything was fine. And I got my elves because I put them down. I saw under very, very close inspection a little paw was missing. Oh, and I thought, oh, that's ruined it. So I put them back because I'm trying to stop myself from buying everything I see. And then I went to another shop to buy, I don't know, some paracetamol or something, and realised when I was standing in the queue that I couldn't live without them. So I legged it back, and they were where I put them, and I bought them. So what is that? This one is perfect. They've got the spaghetti hair. And I mean, the holly outfit is just incredible. I think this probably belonged to Gloria. Yes, Gloria. And I'm going to sell these because I know that I'll break them. I just know. I'm amazed I haven't broken them already, and I've had them in my possession for about 24 hours. So I'm going to put them on eBay. They'll be on this week. They'll go up for auction. I'm going to start the auction at, I think, £62. And that is taking into consideration the damage. So I'm starting the auction low because of this little mitten. However, do you know, honestly, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a bauble, it could have been a foot. But because of the break, you can, aesthetically get away with it. It looks like he's just sort of holding a small hand. But this one is perfect. Perfect vintage, nothing's perfect. I think all the spaghetti hair is there, and yeah, there we go. Sticker on the bottom. I think, yeah, this is model 303, I think. Or maybe it's 3030 something. There we go. And it's a Mount Royal merchandise import. Take it in. I mean, you just never find these in the wild anymore. Amazing. Merry Christmas. So that's that, and now onto the fashion show. So there she is. Look at her glowing in all her belly dancing glory. It's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. You're just kind of putting it on and having a little bit of a shimmy. But clearly I'm not a professional dancer in any stretch. But yeah, she started something, and last Tuesday I was in the city because I had a meeting with some solicitors to try and find out. This was my last attempt to try and find out how to manage Brexit, really, and run my business after Brexit, after 6 years of it. And I said to them, look, just tell me if it's a no, and just say it's not possible, it's ruined, it's over. Just say it. and I'll just like give up hope. Um, and I sort of got the look from a cool woman solicitor in the room that was like, yeah, it's over. But she can't say that. And I mean, I kind of know it is, because if I could have found out how to do it, I would be doing it. But it's over, so Brexit has just stopped everything. So anyway, I came out of the meeting sort of not relieved and not, informed or anything. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. There aren't any answers, but basically it's because no one knows and everyone is just desperately miserable and businesses are ruined. So I thought I'll go to Greg's, which is Greg's, if you're not English, is an institution in the country, and it's a bakery, but it's for pies and pasties and greasy food. It's not so much junk food, it's just kind of it has a it's a genre of its own, Greg's. It's in a league of its own. But they do really sort of nice fatty vegetarian comfort food in the shape of a cheese and onion pie. They didn't have any. Like, what kind of Greg's is this not to have any cheese and onion pies? It's ridiculous. It's like going into a pub and they're not having any beer. Oh, actually, that's possible now because of Brexit. Country's ruined. It's in the bin. Country's in the bin. Greg's have got no pies. Anyway, so to try and console myself from the loss of the no pie situation, I went into a charity shop next door to it and I bought what I thought was a sleeveless dress necklace that was kind of a bib at the front and a bib down the back. When I got home and I put it on around my neck, I thought, this isn't right at all. And then I realised it's a belt. And I thought, oh, is that for an exotic dancer? Is it for a burlesque performer? But then I did a little bit of Googling, and it's a rave belt, apparently, new rave. So for going to festivals and Coachella and that type of business, you can do some damage in that. Let me show you the back. I don't know where this places Gloria on Santa's list, but this next piece might just be the undoing of the old geezer. Gloria, you legend. I mean, I mean, hell's bells and buckets of blood. I just love this woman. Seriously, it's like putting it all together. It's like building a bionic Egyptian goddess, if that makes sense. Just finding all the pieces separately scattered around into the wind, and then you realize who you're dealing with here. And I mean, look at that. This is a 1970s sheer negligee. And this whole identity is just legendary. My God. Who were you, woman? I love you. You're amazing. What were you doing here? How did you get here? What is your story? I'm going to have to invent it for you. Incredible. Can I just say this negligee? I found it in a back street charity shop, and everything's really horrible in there, and I never find anything nice, but I can't stop going in. I can't help it. I don't know why. And I was sort of walking around, when you just wander around for the sake of it and you don't think that you're going to find anything, so you don't look. This literally jumped out at me. She literally stuck her arm out and went, Betty, take me. it was sticking out of the rack. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And I'll just show you the back, because on the hem is a lovely little detail where it's weighted with sort of extra gathering and pleating, and that gives it such a fantastic feel. It gives it that lovely sort of weighted, draping, dragging, follow me if you dare. It's just incredible. Hello, darling. Hello. Hello. Right, I'm gonna take Gloria off the mannequin and let her have some afternoon rest. I nearly said afternoon delight, but that's not what I meant. Poor old Santa. He must be exhausted. So I'm going to put Gloria away and bring out the other fashion vintage items that I found in the last couple of weeks. Here we go. Okay, I get extremely excited when I find these Indian print skirts, especially when they're 100% cotton, because that means they're vintage. And this one is definitely vintage. I think it was probably Gloria's. I'll put it on the mannequin for you. There we go. That's definitely a 70s, a proper full-on vintage hippie Indian print skirt, 100% cotton. Would you say that was sort of a russet? Yeah, russets. Russets and blues. I love, I love. It's gorgeous. Very a Fleetwood Mac, I think. And Kate Bush. This one I describe as long. I've got another one which I've had for a while, and the other one I would describe as maxi. It just has that extra frill at the bottom, and the 100% cotton ones are worth a bit more than the viscose ones. So the 1960s and 1970s cotton Indian print skirts, they are worth a bit more. This one I would say is probably around about 26 to 28 pounds. The other one I think I've listed it for 34 pounds. Yeah, so depending on the skirt and the print, they can go for hundreds because they're just works of art. But this one I'm going to list, and I will list it for around about 26 pounds. Of the two others that I picked up from the vintage dealer, free size again. This one is viscose. I don't know if it's actually from India. It's highly likely that it is, but it hasn't got a label that I can find. Might find it. Is it on there? No. Sorry, love. Sorry. Up, up. I'm not going to charge extra for begonias, but it's damp, darling. I've just washed it. Up. Thank you. But you can see this is a later design. This is 80s, an 80s print. So I'll put this one on and show you. Do you know, I love this now it's on the mannequin. I think it's longer than the cotton one. It's got a really, really nice vibe to it. 80s shell print. Yeah, nice. Very nice. Begonia likes it too. As I say, yep, no charge for the cat hair. Now the last one, free size viscose, also 80s. It's very thick. It would actually be better for the winter. And this has got a gorgeous crushed berry colour, I would say. Lovely. Nice. Do you know, honestly, this elasticated waist, it's so thick and so sturdy. I am telling you, you cannot appreciate an elasticated waist enough. Think of all the pasties. Next, I found this puff sleeve dream. Couldn't be less happy if it tried. And it's got bit of Gloria's black and gold. Lovely little. I mean, the thought of putting a little collar on this as well is just magic. Right, make the sleeves bigger. Make them, I want more puff. Give me gathers. Give me gold brocade. And do you know what else we need? We need a collar. It's joyous. It's absolutely joyous. I love it. Oh, can you see the back of it in the mirror? Oh, yes, it's a keeper. It's an absolute work of art. Honestly, the engineering and design in this piece is just phenomenal. Look, it's like armor. This detail to give it that engineered curve. That puff is phenomenal. And just when you think it couldn't get better, I want a big bow on the rump. Yes, madam. Is that big enough? No. I know. I want it as big as begonia. It's a twirling, flouncing dream. There we are. I found the label inside. And this is House of Nicholas, London. 1980s magnificence. Oh, God. And this is next. I was in one of my favourite charity shops over the water, and just as I walked in, the lovely person who works there was walking out from the back with some fresh stock, and they said, "Perfect timing. Did you like this?" And I just fell. I just fell. Look at it. Vintage, I would say, you know, there's probably not even 10 years between this one and the black and gold puff sleeve number. If the black and gold one, House of Nicholas, was, say, for, you know, as a guesstimate, 1984, this could be 1994. It's principled red velour. You all right, love? Are you okay? Yeah, principled red velour bodycon fishtail gown, and it's in the most incredible 90s red. It's amazing, the economy of design, and when you put this on, no matter what size or shape you are, it is just extraordinarily flattering. It's exquisite. I think a dress like this is on eBay for around about £95 now. It's not for sale. Because obviously I'd rather freeze to death in this dress than sell it and give the money to the electricity companies. But you've got all your food. You've got all the food you need. Yeah. Hello. But just in case the glamour and the beauty of the red velour 90s velvet dress isn't warm enough, I thought I'd better buy this yesterday. It's so red and fluffy, it's freaking out my camera. Let me get a closer look for you. There we go. I don't know if that's any better, but it is actually that red. What I can see through the camera is what I can see through my glasses. It's amazing. And it's exactly the same texture as Begonia's undercarriage. You know, the primordial pouch. Swim, my little friend. Swim in the sea of red faux fur. And the last one. A lovely vintage Marks & Spencer's St. Michael. I'd say 1970s, 1980s. Cute little Edwardian stroke prairie night dress. Isn't it divine? Ew, it's perfect. I like to think that maybe Gloria just kind of pulled this on one of her quiet nights. But I hope she never did. If she did, I bet she put that on as well. That's how she do it, isn't it? Oh my God, it's amazing. It looks fantastic. I might wear that myself. So, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, oh, I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And you want more of this, because trust me, I can keep giving you more of this for eternity. Please subscribe, it'd be fabulous. Please join the gang. I'm thinking of it as like a sort of bamboo lounge of the best people on earth. Do you know what I mean? Where we can all just gather together and look at vintage knickknacks. So, do you know what? I'm going to wear this as a protest into Greg's. I'll teach them to have no Brexit pies. This is my Brexit protest. So if you want to join the protest, if you want to join my gang, come on into the Bamboo Lounge. Please subscribe. Just go boop and then give me a boop, boop, thumbs up. That's fabulous. I know you're there. I can feel you. Can you feel me? Sorry. Yes, I'm gonna. Do you know what it is? It's Gloria. It's blooming Gloria's terrible influence on me. I'm gonna stop now, and I'm gonna wear the nightie. So, buttoned up to the neck. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Just come back every Friday because it's always going to be this. Take care, have a lovely week, and I'll see you on the other side of the weekend. Bye-bye.